A surveillance aircraft is an aircraft used for surveillance, collecting information over time. They are operated by military forces and other government agencies in roles such as intelligence gathering, battlefield surveillance, airspace surveillance, observation, e.g. artillery spotting, border patrol and fishery protection. This article concentrates on aircraft used in those roles, rather than for traffic monitoring, law enforcement, and similar activities. Surveillance aircraft usually carry no armament, or only limited defensive armament. A surveillance aircraft does not necessarily require high-performance capability or stealth characteristics. It may be a modified civilian aircraft. Surveillance aircraft have also included moored balloons, e.g. TARs, and unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs. Definitions. The terms surveillance and reconnaissance have sometimes been used interchangeably, but, in the military context, a distinction can be drawn between surveillance, which monitors a changing situation in real time, and reconnaissance, which captures a static picture for analysis. Surveillance is sometimes grouped with intelligence, target acquisition, and reconnaissance under the title ISTAR. Observation was the term used for surveillance when the main sensor was the human eye. History. Pre-World War I. In 1794, during the Battle of Fleurus, the French aerostatic corps balloon L'Entreprenant remained afloat for 9 hours. French officers used the balloon to observe the movements of the Austrian army, dropping notes to the ground for collection by the French army, and also signaled messages using semaphore. World War I. One of the first aircraft used for surveillance was the Rumpler Taube during World War I, when aviators like Fredson evolved entirely new methods of reconnaissance and photography. The translucent wings of the plane made it very difficult for ground-based observers to detect a Taube at an altitude above 400 m. The French also called this plane the invisible aircraft, and it is sometimes also referred to as the world's very first stealth plane. German Taube aircraft were able to detect the advancing Russian army during the Battle of Tannenberg, 1914. World War II. During World War II, light aircraft such as the Oster were used as air observation posts. Officers from the British Royal Artillery were trained as pilots to fly AOP aircraft for artillery spotting. The air observation role was generally taken over by light observation helicopters, such as the Hughes 06 Cayuse, from the mid-1960s. Pre-war, the British identified a need for an aircraft that could follow and observe the enemy fleet at a distance. To this end, the slow-flying airspeed fleet Shadower and general aircraft fleet Shadower designs were built and flown in 1940, but they were made obsolete by the introduction of airborne radar. Cold War. Spy flights were a source of major contention between the US and Soviet Union during most of the 1960s. Roles. Maritime patrol. Maritime patrol aircraft are typically large, slow machines capable of flying continuously for many hours, with a wide range of sensors. Such aircraft include the Hawker Siddeley Nimrod, the Breguet Atlantique, the Tupolev Tu-95, the Lockheed P-2 Neptune and the Lockheed P-3 Orion/CP-140 Aurora. Law enforcement. Predator UAVs have been used by the U.S. for border patrol, battlefield and airspace surveillance. Current use. Unmanned, UAV, surveillance aircraft have been deployed or are under development in many countries, including Israel, the UK, the United States, Canada, China, India, South Africa, and Pakistan. Unmanned surveillance UAVs include both airships such as Sky Sentinel and High Sentinel 80 and airplanes. Most air forces around the world lack dedicated surveillance planes. Several countries adapt aircraft for electronic intelligence, ELINT, gathering. The Beech RC-12 Super King Air and Boeing RC-135 Rivet Joint are examples of this activity. Business aircraft. With smaller equipment, long-range business aircraft can be modified in surveillance aircraft to perform specialized missions cost-effectively, from ground surveillance to maritime patrol. The 99,500 pounds, 45,100 kilograms, 6,000 nmi Bombardier Global 6000 is the platform for the U.S. Air Force Northrop Grumman E-11A Battlefield Airborne Communications Node, the radar-carrying ground surveillance Raytheon Sentinel for the UK Royal Air Force, and Saab's Global IAEWNC carrying its Erie IAESA radar as UK's Marshall ADG basis for Elant/Sigint for the United Arab Emirates. It is also the base for the proposed Saab Swordfish MPA and the U.S. Air Force Lockheed Martin JSTARS Recap battlefield surveillance program, while IAI's Eli 3360 MPA is based on the Global 5000. The 91,000 pounds, 41,000 kilograms, 6,750 nmi Gulfstream G550 was selected for the IAIL/W2085 Conformal Airborne Early Warning AESA radar for Italy, Singapore, and Israel, which also has IAI Sigint G550S, while L3 Technologies transfers the U.S. Compass Call electronic attack system to the G550C AEW-based EC-37B, like the NC-37B range support aircraft, and will modify others for Australia's ICERU program. Northrop Grumman proposes the G550 for the JSTARS recap. Dassault Aviation developed the Falcon 900 MPA and Falcon 2000 maritime multi-role aircraft for France, which delayed its FSMR requirement, South Korea, and the Japan Coast Guard with a mission system developed with L3 and Thales Group. Embraer delivered several EMB-145s as a platform for AEWNC, MPA, and multi-intelligence. The Beechcraft King Air 350ER is a platform for ISR versions, including L3's Spider 2 and Sierra Nevada Corp's Scorpion, and as the MC-12W for the U.S. Army.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.